Argentine police are given new and more relaxed rules covering the use of firearms, and the president's mega decree receives a congressional gut punch. Welcome to A Bloke in Buenos Aires, presenting news and views in English from the capital of Argentina. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. The increasingly hardline Security Minister, Patricia Bullrich, has introduced a new security protocol covering the use of firearms by police. For a long time, police use of lethal force has been covered by a confusing array of rules and legislation, which mostly put the protection on the side of criminals and fugitives. There is a notorious case from 2017 when an officer shot and killed a teenager who had just robbed a tourist. The police officer was charged, convicted, and finished up in prison, which left other officers reluctant to use guns even when necessary. Bullrich's new protocol is designed to give a very clear set of regulations surrounding when and how guns can be used by police officers, and is much more focused on protecting the public and the police against real and perceived threats. The protocol gives officers much more flexibility when deciding whether or not to shoot, and much less fear of consequences. This all comes against a background of increased violence in the city of Rosario, which is currently the center of a war between drug gangs and is the murder capital of Argentina. Rosario's geographical position on the river Paraná makes it a perfect base for drug traffickers, and despite the provincial governor's best efforts, the gangs have moved in. Almost 2,500 assorted troops, Coast Guard and Border Guards have been deployed in Rosario to assist policing in what is becoming an increasingly tense situation. Discussions have also been held between the governments of Argentina, Brazil and Paraguay about pooling forces and resources to combat organized crime and the drug traffickers. President Milei didn't have a good week last week. His flagship mega decree was rejected by the Senate. The decree was issued by the president just days after taking office and deals with a wide spectrum of issues concerning liberalization of the economy, privatization of state-owned companies, and removal of workers' rights and protections, amongst other things contained in the 366 articles in the decree. The decree has been controversial since the word go and is being challenged in the courts from many sides. Sections concerning labour laws are already suspended and awaiting judicial review. Much of the decree is already in force, but it needs confirmation in the Congress. It's not dead yet, as it now goes to the lower house of Congress and will only fail if they reject it too. President Milei was predictably furious and took to his favourite social media, Twitter, to rant about senators going against the will of the people and having vested interests. Some of his ire was saved for his vice president, Villarruel, who is also head of the Senate, and Milei suggested that her choice of timing for the debate of the bill may have helped cause it to fail. There is said to be a developing rift between Milei and Villarruel. Last week, the Congress voted themselves a huge pay rise, which the president immediately shot down, but over which Villarruel rather dragged her feet, having initially been in support of the pay rise. And Villarruel is also nursing a grudge from the early days of the administration after being promised control of security and defense ministries, which were then handed to senior figures from Juntos por el Cambio, the coalition party of government. Predictably, presidential spokesman Manuel Adorni, when quizzed on Thursday about potential disagreements between Milei and his VP, suggested it was all down to misinterpretation and press speculation. Every news report has some kind of bias, and it's often frustratingly difficult to get a balanced view. Ground News is a website and app that gathers all the world's media in one place so you can compare coverage. Ground News lets you see the story behind the story, using data-driven analysis that looks at things like the political bias, reliability and ownership of news outlets. To get a 40% discount off a subscription to Ground News, click on the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to see more similar content. And if you want to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee in the link below. And until next time, que tengas un buen día.